For its fifth hearing, June 11, 2020, the House panel focuses on the Philippine Depository Receipts or PDRs issued by ABS-CBN. SEC Commissioner Efera Matong says the network did not commit constitutional violations as the PDRs were allowed and registered with the government. Ipinaliwanag ng ABS-CBN Legal Counsel na si Atty. Cynthia Del Castillo that the PDRs are purely financial instruments at ito hindi shares. Sinabi niya rin na there is no transfer of rights from shareholders of ABS-CBN Broadcasting and owners of PDRs. Nilinaw niya din na ang ABS-CBN holdings are registered under the SEC and the Philippine Stock Exchange. It was subjected to the full scrutiny of these regulators. We are not hiding anything. We have not circumvented Philippine Constitution. Yan ang sabi ng ABS-CBN Legal Counsel na si Atty. Cynthia Del Castillo. June 15, 2020, Day 6 of ABS-CBN Franchise House hearing, the House panels raised the issues in relation to the arbitration agreement which allowed the return of the network's properties and equipment to the Lopezes. Iginiit naman ni Deputy Speaker Marcoleta ang maling paggamit ng PDR. Kabilang na ang legal limitations katulad ng bawal ang hindi purong-purong Pilipino na magmamayari at mamamalakad ng kumpanyang may kinalaman sa mass media. Hayag naman ni Congressman P.D. Barsaga na kung 100% ang pag-aari ng mga Pilipino sa mga share of stocks ng ABS-CBN. Suhestyon naman ni Congresswoman Violago na imbestigahan din ang PDR ng ibang mga broadcasting company.
All major broadcasting companies are almost the same like sa GMA and the ABS-CBN. The only difference is the price. In aid of legislation in the near future po sana, Mr. Chair, maybe we can also investigate do sa BTRs ng ibang broadcasting companies the way we investigate the PDRs of ABS-CBN. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Nasinang-ayunan naman ni Congressman Defensor. Ngunit,
diverted from the issue. Ang issue po dito, was there a violation of ABS-CBN of our Constitution?
dagdag pa niya na ang inapprove lang ng SEC at PSE ay ang pag-issue ng PDR instrument at hindi ang pagbili ng banyaga. Medyo nainis naman si Congressman P.D. Barsaga sa mga sagot ng ABS-CBN Council sa mga tanong nito patungkol sa legal positions of Lopezes simula pa ng martial law at ang pag-ere ng ABS-CBN Corp after EDSA Revolution, pati na yung pagpayag ni Cory Aquino sa pagsauli ng properties ng ABS-CBN kung meron bang dokumento in writing o boka-boka lamang ito.
Hindi ko po alam,
Meron
Your
po bang
Honor.
nakakaalam? Kung hindi
Ang
niyo po,
nakakaalam, sa ABS-CBN Corporation.
Congressman,
I cannot recall,
Move to
Your
suspend,
Honor.
Mr. Chairman.
hearing suspended.
Ang mga sumunod na interpelasyon ng mga kongresista ay patungkol sa history of the return of the properties of ABS-CBN at ang mga alegasyon of how government worked with the other companies during post-martial law period. And all the questions on the return to the Lopez family, in particular to the arbitrary procedure and the settlement agreement that were agreed upon. Nilinaw naman ni Honorable Rufo Rodriguez na inaprubahan ng Presidential Commission on Good Governance or PCGG ang pagbalik ng ari-arian ng ABS-CBN.
Executive level in the executive department. It is clear that the PCGG has returned these particular properties to the Lopez family.
Yan ang mga kaganapan sa House of Representatives. I am Nicole Shane Valujera. Magandang gabi, bayan!
Decision by the Lopezes during the post-EDSA revolution and whether or not the network's application violate the 50-year constitutional limitation for a franchise. When ABS-CBN Vice Chairman Augusto Jake Almeida Lopez asserted they took back control of the network that was taken away from them during martial law in 1972, debunking allegations that it was returned to them by the Aquino administration. He said that, hindi isinauli sa amin ng Marcos ang istasyon. Nakuha namin sa aming sariling sikap kasama yung forces na Enrile at Ramos. Enrile opposes that and said, the facilities of the entire ABS-CBN complex, broadcast complex was placed under control of the government. The title of all these facilities were never transferred to the government. They remained with the owners. After the congressmen had their questions, Attorney Lopez said, ABS-CBN is fighting for its life. I think it's my responsibility as senior member of this company to explain to members of this Congress that really, I think we deserve the renewal of our franchise. And that if you don't renew our franchise, you're going to deprive the public with so much entertainment, news, and more or less the building of culture. He pleaded that the Congress should recognize the value of ABS-CBN, recognize the contribution of 11,000 employees of ABS-CBN, and the contribution of ABS-CBN to the television industry in general. When Marcoleta insisted that it would be unconstitutional for Congress to issue a 25-year franchise for ABS-CBN because this would overshoot the 50-year maximum imposed by the charter. He said that, isa-isa po nating ipinakikita na napakaraming paglabag sa ating mga batas, lalong-lalo na po sa ating saligang batas. Kung diskresyon po ng Congress ang mag-extend, diskresyon rin po ng Congress na tignan niya na maaaring hindi niya na po ito i-extend. And Attorney Mario Bautista said to this, ang purpose po nitong congressional franchise hearings ay to determine the truth. Yan po ang sinabi sa amin. Ibig sabihin po nun ay binibigyan kami ng due process. Ang element po ng due process is a fair and impartial tribunal. So, hindi po dapat na nagko-conclude ka agad. Ang ginagamit na salita ay nag-aalingas-ngas na mayroon kaming violations. Wala po kaming violations. The discussions turned heated between pro and anti-ABS-CBN solons after Buhay Party List Representative Lito Atienza chided colleagues. In particular, Deputy Speaker and Sagip Party List Representative Rodante Marcoleta for browbeating network lawyers and officials in opposing the network's request. Representative Lito Atienza said, immediately magre-react siya ng ganyan. Nangangahulugan lang na tama ang aking damdamin na itong hearing natin ay hindi po natin inilalagay sa tamang direksyon. He also added that malinaw ang paliwanag ni Representative Rodriguez na ang ating constitution ay hindi nilalabag ng ABS-CBN. Ang kanilang application may be acted on by Congress na pwedeng bigyan ng 1 month up to 50 years. Si Representative Marcoleta lang naman ang may ibang impresyon at interpretasyon. The Part 8 is where the ABS-CBN, TV Plus box, and KBO issue alleged violations on previous franchise was held on June 29, 2020 in House of Representatives of the Philippines. ABS-CBN's digital TV box with multi-channel capability as well as its pay-per-view service complied with the National Telecommunications Commission's (NTC) Digital Migration Plan launched in 2014. The network's head of legal services, Cesar Poblador, said on Monday, in short, they have to digitize their signals. TV Plus, its multi-channel capability, and KBO are the digital enhanced services that ABS provided fulfillment of this NTC mission. He also added that ABS-CBN's multiple channel system follows digital migration plan of NTC. It is an implementing rules and regulation was issued by the NTC in 2014, which became effective on January the following year, mandated TV broadcasters to shift from analog to digital for TV transmission. Poblador said during a House hearing on the network's alleged franchise violations. The issues of ABS-CBN on feed cap that Tamano stated were, first, using multiple channels in one franchise. Even Tagalog or digital, kailangan na sumunod sa batas, Kaya dapat isang channel lang po ang ABS-CBN and not multiple channel. Second, offering TV Plus using to free air frequency. Third, ABS-CBN operation of pay-per-view service Kapamilya Box Office or KBO. She even stated that the government should earn and not the oligarchy, and said that they waited for 5 years for this to happen, that the Congress have finally heard them. She said, ABS-CBN complies with all pertinent laws governing its franchise and has secured all necessary government and regulatory approvals for its business operations. She also stated that, as far as we know now, in the other countries, this kind of broadcasts with super mega franchise are only granted to a government-owned media entity and never to privately owned of media entity. Kung hindi po natin ito mabigyan ng linaw, susundan din po ito ng ilang TV stations. Ano na po ang mangyayari sa ating broadcast and telecommunication? There were questions were asked by Congressman Remulla. His first question was, ABS is only a block timer and Amcara broadcasting? The ABS-CBN said yes, Channel 43. And his second question was, does ABS owns share for Amcara broadcasting? And the ABS said, again, they didn't have any share. ABS-CBN President and Chief Executive Officer Carlo Katigbag made a similar statement during the statement late Wednesday night. A block time arrangement is not usufruct. A block time arrangement is a standard commercial agreement that is quite common in the broadcasting industry, Katigbag told lawmakers. When Congressman Remulla heard the statement of ABS-CBN, he stated that this is only to prove the point that the bad faith of ABS-CBN. They did not truthfully answer the questions of these representations. Hindi ho sila nagsabi ng totoo. Sila po ay nagsinungaling na ang Amcara ay hindi nila pagmamay-ari at ito ay hindi na nila pagmamay-ari ngayon, ngunit sila pa rin ang gumagamit. He also added that parang bahay po iyan. Doon sila nakatira sa bahay na iyon. Iyon ang address na binibigay nila pero hindi naman sila umuupa. Pero andun sila nagbabahay sa bahay na iyon. Ano kaya iyon? Pare-pareho naman kaming mga abogado rito. Alam po natin na ang gawain po ng mga abogado pagdating sa ganito, sila po ang gumagawa ng palusot. This is where Congressman Zarate were defending ABS-CBN and Congressman Marcoleta asked why ABS-CBN had Channel 43, the Amcara, when they should only have their own channel, pointing out also that MTC Commissioner Cordova should resign because of the allegations of the said issue. Congressman Marcoleta explains why ABS-CBN should not use any frequency if there is no permit approved by the NTC. He also added that, alam po ninyo Mr. Katigbag, talaga pong ang technology ay mabilis lumago. Kung minsan po ang ating pamahalaan ay hindi masyadong nakakahabol, wag naman po natin masyadong bilisan. Komo ang technology nandyan, para bang, o sige wala pa namang mga rules, unahan natin, wag po ganun. This is also where the last part that Attorney Nepomuceno stated in this part that ABS-CBN is fully compliant in general labor standards, occupational health and safety standards, and security of tenure for there are no violations, pointing out that ABS-CBN gives financial operational content support in its group. If the franchise would take down, it would be hard for them to maintain the foundation, the Bantay Bata that helps the children that are in danger, and the Sagip Kapamilya that helps thousands of Filipinos that are in need when there are calamities. If the franchise would not take the opportunity to renew its contract, the industry will also suffer.